Good evening, good afternoon, good night, and good mornings. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for another episode of Millionaire M.A.N Cave right here on Relationship Entertainment Television. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. Y'all could have chosen to watch anything else on TV. I think there's like a game on and ain't no sitcoms or whatnot. So ain't nothing really else on. So you might as well turn on Relationship Entertainment Television. Black-owned network right here, streaming 24/7, 365. This is our hour and a half of a show. Y'all know it is. Y'all get a sneak peek behind the closed doors of a man cave. It's like barbershop talk. What goes on in the man cave stays in the man cave, except this is y'all's hour and a half into that sneak peek of a man cave. We talk about all types of topics, good, bad, and difference. It's everybody's opinions. Nobody walks away at the end of the day with any hard feelings because we do talk shit sometimes. So
I do.
Yeah, exactly. Every so often, we do allow some females in the cave. So I'm giving all this because there's some explanation to all this later. So I'm just letting y'all know just prepping y'all for the night. So we got a hell of a show for y'all. As I always say, I couldn't do this show without the fellas that are on the stream with me right now. As you can see, one is missing. Don't know where the hell he is. We just got a text saying I'm not doing the show tonight. No, that's not that's not really what he said, though. He really was like, nah, he got some other stuff to take care of. So we appreciate him though. But my brother from another mother, Millionaire Mike, is in the building with us tonight. What's going on, Mike?
Wicca, what's up?
You know,
really? Yeah, you know, I gotta come with something new, man. You know, I always say ain't shit. Nah, man, I'm doing good. I'm doing real well tonight. It's Tuesday night. I'm in with the fellas. We kicking back. We actually gonna have some guests on tonight, so it may not just be fellas tonight. You know, but we're getting all that later. Yeah, I'm good.
So left by himself in the DMV tonight. What's going on, John? Mr. PC is in the building. What's going on with you, John?
I'm all right, man. I'm fighting off something, but I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay.
I hope it ain't nothing serious, is it?
It ain't the vid. It ain't the vid.
Okay. I was about to say, I mean, still.
We COVID free in 2023. Okay.
Can you prove that, sir? Can you prove that?
I took a test earlier.
Is you got something one of your kids brought home?
Yeah, man. It's ugly. I know a lot of people who actually getting sick right now, but it's not COVID. It's just it might be allergies. I don't know. The weather changing so rapidly, you know what I'm saying?
Yes. Well, the doctor says it's a lot of nasty stuff going around, period. Yeah. You know, not just COVID, but just other ailments and type of colds and stuff.
Okay. Well, Ninja, I know what you ain't supposed to do when you sick. Drink.
Why not?
I thought it opens up your pores.
Just knock it right out of you, sir.
Well, I guess if you do a hot toddy, I guess
it make me feel good all the way down to my bones.
What you drinking on, John?
This is a old fashioned.
Okay.
You know.
Is it your I saw the drink. What's the drink you were talking? You and Robin.
Yeah, the bullet pre-made drink. Yeah, I like that. I like that. It's good stuff.
I'm gonna have to try it.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. They
have a Manhattan too. So it's by Bullet. They make a Manhattan, pre-made Manhattan as well. But I like the old fashioned.
I'm gonna have to check it out. I saw it in the ABC store the other day, and I just ain't pick it up. I actually was going in there for something completely different, and my mind was made up on what I was going in there for, and I was leaving right back out of there right after that. So, I don't know. Well, see, I guess with Donnell not being here tonight, you know, Mr. Reasonable, do we have a word to the wise? We really missing. Did he ain't drop off words to the wise to nobody?
I do word to the wise. I do word to the wise.
Okay. All
right.
Now I got word to the wise tonight.
Word to the wise. Okay. So, fellas. Okay. I wish I had a picture to go along with this, but if your hairline is moving further and further back to the point where you now have a U shape around your head and you holding on to all the hair on the sides, you need to cut it off. Okay. Just let it go. All right. That Krusty the Clown look ain't happening. It ain't working for you. That George Jefferson, you know what I'm saying, special, let it go. All right, let it go.
You talking about that U shape right up in there?
Hey, when they get all the way back, when they get all the way back, you need to let it go. Look like another hairline TKO. Okay, let it go.
Really?
That's what I had to do.
Really? Look like it. You know what? And Mike was holding on to that joint for a minute.
I was.
Mike did not want to let the hairline go. That joint was just further and further back. And then he just kept it short. And I was like, Mike, you been bald? How long you been bald, Mike? Because I realized that your head was kind of,
Now, I have not gone as bad as James Brown from CBS Sportscasting. I haven't gotten that bad. But it was bad enough. I had to let it go.
Second part to it. If you are now getting all of the spray going all the way up and they have to create a hairline for you in the front, you're done. Just let it walk away.
I think I better let it go.
My question is why? Why? I mean, like, what is it doing for you that you got to put hairspray or spray paint or whatever it is to make your hairline look like what it's not? You as bad as them women with it.
I don't know why people do that.
No offense to the ladies, but y'all with them, I got to get my baby hairs, my edges. let it go. Your hairline recedes just like a dude hairline recede. And that's all I'm gonna say that
women's hair do recede too.
Right. That's what I'm saying. But never mind.
Sometimes they hang on to it a little too far. Just
somebody's gonna be offended, so I'm gonna let it go. So I'm gonna let it go.
We had to put up the other disclaimer, not to offend people.
We already did that one.
That's the one.
Exactly. That one. Let's just go into commercial.
Welcome to What's Going On? My name is Demita Joe. Each Wednesday, you can find me here at 3 p.m. I'll be over here discussing different things that are going on and try to bring you a boost of positivity for your week because we all need this. We're going to share some feel-good stories. We might find a hometown hero. We may take a look at some trending topic. And sometimes we might even find a lesson in a not-so-warm and fuzzy story if we can. I'm Demita Joe, and I'll see you guys on the next episode right here on What's Going On?
Tune in to Millionaire M.A.N, only on Relationship Entertainment Television, Tuesdays at 8 p.m.
Appreciate y'all for tuning in to PM each time right here on Relationship Entertainment Television. As John really just not realized that the commercial was coming to an end as he was stuffing his face.
Yo, my wife be throwing down. I can't help but to eat it. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I don't blame you. Do what you do, John. You know what it is. Do it, John was really going to town though. That's Drake. That was hilarious to me. That was the hilarious part. My bad. Anyway, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Relationship Entertainment Television. Y'all know what time it is. We got a hell of a show. We're gonna get into it right away. Y'all download this Roku app, RETV on the Roku, so that way you can watch on Roku. You can watch on the website, re-tv.net. If y'all got questions, comments, concerns, all that stuff, you can send it into info@re-tv.net. Even for this show, any other
keep
show.
your concerns to yourself.
That part. I ain't want to say that, John, because we got guests tonight, but it is what it is. And don't forget, if y'all are on YouTube, subscribe to the Relationship Entertainment Television YouTube channel, so that way you can watch via YouTube, you can watch via Facebook, you can watch even via LinkedIn, including Roku and everywhere else in between. Make sure y'all subscribe to the Relationship Entertainment Television YouTube channel. You get notified. Hit the bell, hit the subscribe button. You get notified. Mike, what we doing tonight?
We are talking Greek. So can y'all speak Greek?
No, sir.
I know Greek.
You do. You would. You went to a PWI.
The things you learn, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, but seriously, we have a panel tonight. A lot of guests that are Greek affiliated, like with fraternities, sororities, the Black Greek letter organizations,
the Divine Nine.
The Divine Nine. Yep. So we're going to get into some topics. You guys, if you have questions, we may or may not answer them, but put them in the chat. I'll try to get to them. But yeah, other than that, man, we just, like I said, we're going to chop it up. We're going to talk about, what it's like living the Greek life, because most people know college. But Greek life goes beyond college, unlike other Greek organizations at those PWIs, like John.
Oh wow, that you just
waiting for John to say something.
Yo, you are shooting bullets that you can't even back up. That ain't even 100% accurate. You know what I'm saying?
See, we need that show. We need that show too, because it was my understanding that pretty much all of the predominantly white Greek fraternities and sororities were just college based. They didn't do stuff for the community, didn't do stuff after college.
Yo, they send me emails all the time.
He didn't say he didn't do anything active. He said, "Yeah,
I didn't say I was
want some money."
I just said that
I
ain't say they was asking for money either. I ain't say they was asking for money either. It's a bet. That don't mean I go to them.
We got to introduce. Yes, I'm Mike. We got to introduce.
Let's bring up some guests, man.
Let's start with the ladies. We got a couple ladies on the show. So earlier I mentioned we don't usually let ladies in the cave, but we got a couple ladies on the show. I think I see one of them. I don't see the other one. We got one representing AKA Miss Tasha. She's on mute. How you doing?
I'm off mute now. I'm good. How are you guys?
Good. Thank you.
Going all right. What's going on, Tasha?
Hey. Let me try to adjust this. I'm doing good.
Gotcha.
There we go.
We see her letter. She got the AKA. And let's go ahead and introduce from Zeta Phi Beta. Miss Stephanie's in the building. What's going on, Steph?
Hello. How are you?
One of y'all gonna have to mute.
No, he good. They got it. We worked all that. Had you been prior at the pre-show, John, you would know.
I heard the echo, so I just assumed. I apologize.
We worked all that out, ladies.
Hey, Tasha.
Ladies, this show is really what it is. It is what it is. So it's gonna be a lot of shit talking, a lot of man stuff going on, but we have the show. It is y'all sneak peek into Man Cave. Let's introduce the fellas. I don't think we have representation of all the fraternities, but
we don't have all the Divine Nine, but we have a few.
So let's go ahead and bring in Mr. Robert Mahoney. How's it going, sir?
Bonjour, mademoiselle et messieurs, comment allez-vous?
Oh, shucks.
Oh, parlez-vous français?
Yeah,
I just wanted to get the good French words out before we get the bad French words out.
Guys, how's it going, sir? How you doing?
I'm well, thank you very much.
Appreciate you joining us tonight. Appreciate you
yes,
for joining
sir.
us tonight. I'm just go ahead and say, because you got the letters on and you got the background on. Corey, can we assume that you are part of Sigma?
Well, I sure am. Good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a proud member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, as you can see.
All right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's what's up. Well,
appreciate you for joining us tonight. Appreciate you for joining us. And last but not least, Mr. John Reeves. John, I don't know what fraternity. He got it in there too. Okay, Sigmas. Okay, I see it. I see it. Okay. Appreciate y'all for joining us tonight. Again, we do this each and every Tuesday. It's always, our man cave type We have, all types of conversations. And tonight we are talking Greek, but Mike, I'll let you take it away.
Oh yeah. We'll get into that in a little bit, but we like to hit current events when we first start the show, and there's some things going on that we can speak on, like Keke Palmer's baby. Did y'all know that she had a baby? Was she just announced her pregnancy like a month ago?
Like 2 months ago, she just told everybody she was pregnant.
Yeah.
She kept it to herself. You know what I'm saying? Like
that it surprised me. If I may be so bold,
please.
I thought she was. I didn't know she was with men.
I think she's free spirited.
Oh, okay. She's Will Smith's daughter.
I don't know her pronouns, but I know that she has
a verb or something.
Dated both.
Not necessarily.
Does it matter?
It's an action word. It doesn't matter. I just didn't know.
Okay.
I thought it's just me. It's just me. Please don't blame anybody
else.
No,
it's all good, but it shouldn't matter.
Our friend the Brat is also having a baby.
I understand, and that's why I thought that the person that she was with, it was all surrogate, but it was
yeah. I knew she had a boyfriend, but I didn't know anything.
I thought she was still spelling words in the keel and the bee. I didn't know.
Well, yeah, let me tell you what surprised me was the name. That's what surprised me.
Leotis.
Leotis. Andrelton.
That must be somebody in her family, man. That must be a family name.
Jackson.
It could be.
Her uncle, her drunk uncle.
That's a good family name.
Destined to be an Uber driver.
Destined to be an Uber driver.
Destined to be a
Wow, well, that's a legacy name. I imagine a first, a second, a third. That can be passed on down.
Because it sounds like an old name, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
like one of your grandfather's friends' names.
Yeah, somebody from Divine Nine in
one of the charter members.
Yeah, in 09.
Of some form. Yep.
Something in 09. I don't know.
Leotis.
Yeah,
it's all good.
It just surprised me. I thought that I didn't know she had a boyfriend. Maybe I'm not up on current events, but I thought that she was gender neutral.
Well, see, and that's it. Gender neutral means that's why I said free spirit.
Yeah.
Free spirit.
Even if she was, whatever her situation is, like John just said, the Brat's pregnant and she's in, a relationship that she's in. So, anything can happen. So regardless,
people have babies.
Like John said, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Anybody have babies.
It is. But listen, speaking of Leotis and the old school names, today is the last day of Black History Month. I'm not ready to let it go.
Yes, sir. Well, we did talk about. Oh, yeah, that would have to be worse. We did talk about before why it is the shortest month, but it still seems like. But I mean, should we celebrate it longer than just the 28 days we get?
Yes,
we celebrated 365.
I celebrated 365 because I think it's important. I think it's important that we keep up with our history and, in fact, do everything that we can to educate others on our history. So 365 it is for me, or 366 if you include leap year.
Y'all don't live in Florida, right? Nobody live in Florida because you can't talk about it. You can't talk about it in Florida no more.
No.
Any of y'all go to university in Florida?
No.
They're not
but I am going to Florida next month.
Okay. All right. They're not teaching it.
Be careful. Tread lightly.
So this might be my last show.
If any of y'all professor of Black history or any non-white history, you can't teach in Florida either. So there you go.
Right.
Just let it go.
Which I think is ridiculous.
They go hard. I don't say they go hard. It's DeSantis. Period.
Yeah. The challenge with me is that the people actually buy that. I mean, I'm still surprised, but I guess if there's truth to the January 6th stuff, or people believe that nonsense, I guess they'll believe what DeSantis is saying too. It just doesn't make sense that you have a place in Florida called Rosewood,
There you go.
But we can't talk about that because that governor doesn't want you to talk about that. Or every football team in the state of Florida is predominantly black, but we can't talk about black history in Florida. And most of their culture, is not necessarily white based. It may be Hispanic or Cuban or Dominican based. That's where the culture in Miami, that's where everybody goes to when they go to South Beach. They're not going down there to see white people. They're going down there to get culture, to, get a part of the islands that's migrated here. So it amazes me that they stand for that in the state of Florida.
And that's what I was going to say. I have family in Florida, so I know what they do and how they vote. But it's curious to me how they get them to vote for what they believe in. I mean that's ridiculous.
Right,
it is. It's strange.
Yeah, some of the Cubans that came here from Cuba, they just don't want it to be true democratic. That they need more authoritarian kind of government control, and I guess that's why they lean towards a Republican.
Yeah, because I have heard that a lot of Cubans lean towards Republican in Florida.
Yeah, that's the way they was brought up. So it's kind of crazy, but a lot of things in Florida are Indian based.
Really?
Yeah, I mean
Native American. Yeah,
right. There's a lot of tribes, a lot of counties in Florida that are Indian in nature. Again, South Beach is mostly tropical island people, and then African Americans are dominant in all the sports in Florida. So, what the white people doing? They just
maybe that's why DeSantis is going so hard on it because he's trying to get his people back.
Yeah. I mean, that's just my perspective.
It sounds like you should do a show on that topic alone.
I mean, clearly you said so. Robert, you asked what the white people doing. They going out and voting. That's what they do.
That part.
But the sad part is a lot of blacks are voting with them because sad as it is, Mickey Mouse runs that state.
You would think so.
Yeah, so it's kind of crazy that we as a black people, I guess they're not united because, I know that there are segments of Florida that are totally about the South Beach life, and there are segments of Florida that are about the Panhandle and the Tallahassee life, and then there are those in the middle.
Duval.
As long as they can survive a hurricane, they just rebuild and keep going. So
there it is.
It would be, John, as you said, it would be a great topic down the road.
Yeah, definitely. We have to talk about that. Talk about all that good stuff. So,
Ty, put your shirt up, man, real quick. Put your shirt up for me. Winston-Salem State University won the CIAA men's basketball, and my other school that I went to, Elizabeth City State University, won the women's.
We don't care. We don't care about the women's. Let's go back to Winston.
There you go.
No background to match it. That is.
Yes,
I know you went to school, Stephanie.
Yes.
we don't care.
See, I couldn't talk. I can't talk because only one of us could talk at a time because of the echo. So I'll make sure you're very clear on where I went to school. The other champions. Just making sure.
Oh yeah.
And, women play basketball. We play fundamental basketball. Y'all's out there for a show.
Right now.
Play a hell of a game of basketball. I know some women that can kill some dudes in basketball.
Exactly.
Straight up.
Exactly.
Yeah. And
I'm going to go back on mute now because only one of us can talk at a time.
I'm gonna say this though. Don't nobody watch basketball for the fundamentals.
But you do watch it for what the girls look like now, don't you?
No, because they all date girls. They all
balling. You wish you could ball just like them.
I don't know about that one. They are some fine WNBA players, though.
Yes, they are, but then they turn around and they dating girls. So I'm good on that one.
Not all of them. I dated the chick that went to the WNBA. Not all of them, no, sir. That is whatever. Drink your
Lisa
drink.
Leslie wasn't?
No.
Or is she?
No, she's not.
I'm just trying to think of somebody, prominent in WNBA.
No, every woman in the WNBA or playing women's basketball is not. What would you call it, Ty? What did you say they are? What was the word you used?
What word did I use?
You called them I'm not gonna use it. That's not my word. That's your word.
What word did I use?
I'm Mr. PC, okay? So I don't use those words.
Let's keep it PC.
John,
use some very derogatory words towards our lesbian brethren. Okay?
No,
or sister. I don't know
what that episode, sir. What are you talking about?
One of y'all.
We had to be schooled. We had
to tell y'all better. I had to tell y'all to change your words that you used last week.
Yes.
We had to talk about.
We had to be schooled that some of the words we were using, and they weren't words that are normally thought of as derogatory, but we had to come to the conclusion that they could be derogatory. Right. So we did. Right. We had to stop. So.
Well, can you give us an example?
I was going to say the same thing.
I'm not going to say
it's the barbershop, right?
Mind.
So,
curious mind.
So
okay, all right. So, no offense, but
look, I'm going to say this. Go ahead, Mike.
Well, the one word was stud.
Stud.
I did not know that studs. I did not know that was a derogatory statement or could be derogatory. I thought that that's what a lot of the more masculine lesbians went by.
And maybe they do, but that don't mean you can call them that. I'm saying, you know, if I say what's up my nigga to somebody, that don't mean somebody else can call me that.
Right. Exactly.
I'm not saying that I use that, but I'm just saying.
John's face is down there. He's like,
yeah, I flunked my interpersonal class because, oh my God, but wow.
All I'm saying is that
I did ask for an example, so wow.
All I'm saying is I don't know if that's an okay word to use.
It's not.
What we were saying. That's what I was saying. That's what
I didn't know that.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Conversation ended this way last week, John. We want to have people of that community come on the show so they can inform us of things because I thought, for instance, Leah, I thought the same thing. I thought stud was okay term to use until he was like, nah, that can be.
And what I said to them was, no, we should not say that because that is not appropriate.
But nobody ever told us that. Like, I didn't know that.
Well, words matter. And here's the thing. And again, I'm the first one to tell you, I don't know what vernacular should use in a lot of different settings, but here's the thing. I do ask. So there's that.
There you go. That's why we want to have the show.
Exactly.
I found myself.
There's another show topic.
There is another show topic. We're trying to. We want to.
We are trying to. In real talk, we are trying to find people who to come on to have that conversation because we do want to. Literally like next week. Because we do want to have that conversation, so that way, we are educated. We aren't walking around blind and dumb.
Right.
Because I know for myself, I want to be educated. There's the whole thing of pronouns that whole topic thing that,
like I say, we're moving towards a gender neutral society.
Yeah,
a
lot of that stuff is new to a lot of us. We want to be able to figure stuff out and be inclusive to everybody.
Y'all gotta get with it. Y'all gotta get with it.
Yeah, I couldn't walk up to her and say, "Hello, Mr. Lady." That just wouldn't work.
No, but people get offended.
I don't think that's the right approach. First,
I couldn't do that. So I need the education as well.
Yeah, but
and we've got to learn these pronouns.
Yeah, people get offended if you don't call them the right pronoun. It's like, well, I'm sorry, I didn't know. So, like John said, to ask, all right, well, what is it that you prefer to be called? So, again, we want to have that whole conversation, that whole topic for an entire show next week. So if y'all want to come back on, if you know other people who want to come on and have that conversation, educate us.
I don't know nobody.
Please.
No one listen because that's something.
You do. You know somebody.
You start to say, you do. You just don't know you do.
You know somebody.
You know somebody.
Stop.
And I know
the community is too large.
I know
y'all gonna leave my auntie out of this.
I know it's not a topic of the night, but I found it was interesting. And Robert, you're interesting because you said your auntie, right? Like I think I grew up with an aunt who is gay, right? Like, and my mother would say, she's a bull dagger, and I was like, I don't know what the heck a bull dagger is.
Yeah,
like that just sounds way out of whack. That's what I grew up
something you
hearing.
couldn't say at a PWI.
Right. Well, you can say it if you want to. Nobody knew what you were talking about, but but it was something that I grew up hearing often. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And not that it made sense, not that it was right, but that's what I grew up with in terms of what people said. So
right. Yeah, my mother had a whole set of cups for people that came to the house.
Oh
that
Lord!
You know what, bro?
Oh Lord!
Gender different.
Yeah.
Just, you know.
So next week we all have. We want to have.
That's why I don't know nobody. I don't know nobody.
Next week we do want to have that conversation. So if anybody, again, I put it out there last week. I'm putting it out there this week. If you know anybody or who wants to come on the show to have that conversation, we do want to have that conversation to be educated and to be informed. Seriously, next week. We do tell jokes, we do talk shit, all that good stuff, but we are going to be serious and we do want to be informed at the end of the day.
That's it. It's education, entertainment.
Yeah, exactly.
And to inspire.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you. So appreciate it, Mike. I appreciate you. Mike knows. I appreciate it.
That's right. That's the motto for the RETV. Educate, inspire, and entertain. All right. So last current event I had, though, be honest with you, is baseball. I don't know how many of you or if any of you are baseball fans, but just found out yesterday they're revamping the rules this season for baseball.
For what?
And made the bases bigger.
Wait, so they made the bases bigger? Like
wider? Actually larger, yes. The square is larger.
Wow.
So the bases, they said, was to promote or help promote more stealing bases. Because it gives more to tag, I guess, more to grip onto, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but the biggest change, that's a big change. But the other big change is they're going to have a running clock, or not a running clock, but they're going to have a clock on pitching.
Actually, it's for the batter. It's for the batter.
Oh,
both. Yeah.
So the batter normally stands around, twists his gloves, hits his cleats 17 times, spits tobacco, kicks the chalk, and then he goes in the box. So now he has 8 minutes. He has to be ready. Not 8 minutes. It's not 8 minutes. Not 8 minutes. It's 8 seconds. 8 seconds to between pitches to be ready for the next pitch.
And the pitchers have 15 seconds. If they're runners on the base, they have 20 seconds.
Right.
But yeah, they in one of the preseason games, I guess yesterday or a couple of days ago, they got one of the batters, like Robert was saying, they got one of the batters for I guess delayed game. It's the only thing I can think of that they will call it. Yeah. Because they were taking too long to get ready.
Right. He wasn't in the box and ready to go, and it was his third strike. If you're not ready to go, it's a strike. So if it's your first time at the bat, then you come up there with one strike. And if it's your second strike and you're not ready to go, it's a called third strike and you're out. And I think they ended the game that way.
Yeah, that was the end of the game.
So is this like football where they like test stuff out during preseason? So they like just testing it out during like the spring?
No.
It's a go. It's a go, but this is the first preseason or was it summer league that they've had a chance to incorporate it.
Right. So like referees have to get used to it too.
Yeah.
Right.
It just seemed like a lot to remember and a lot for people to get right. If you got to remember who on base, how many seconds you got compared to the pitcher, and that's just a lot of
Well, they have clocks around. So there's clocks around, just like shot clocks, just like the clocks in the end zone for football. This is just another sport now that has a clock running.
Right.
So
it pretty much stems from the fact that most sports are being
hold on.
Are being watched.
I was saying, based on this topic, do you think it will matter? Will it increase people watching the sport? Will it increase folks getting excited about it? Sounds like to me, no.
It's not gonna get me to watch. That's for sure.
Within this group,
it's still boring.
But I did hear on the radio today that a lot of the fans are more excited than the players, because the fans say it's going to speed the game up
Wow.
They're more interested than the players are.
Both Tasha and
That's
Stephanie like,
good.
yeah.
I might watch them because I just sitting there and they just taking, like Robert said, they're taking so much time to actually pitch, and it's like, you know, I can be doing something else. So if it's fast paced, I lose attention quickly. So I may watch now.
Yeah. Like the average game is like 4 hours last year,
and that's ridiculous.
And now the games are like 2 hours and 50 minutes. So they've basically taken an hour of lollygagging out of the game of baseball.
That's a lot of damn lollygagging.
I wonder if they think about like how that would affect like just economically, because I don't like watching baseball, but I do go to games. And so if the game is shorter, it's probably less time that you get to sell beer and merch and those things. So I love the fact that it's sped up, but I wonder how that will affect just in terms of
having just raise the prices.
That's a good
I agree with you.
Exactly, John.
Being in the stadium is like, if you go to the game, it doesn't feel as long, and you actually get more into it. Watching on TV sucks. Like I will never watch a game on TV.
Yeah, like a NASCAR race. It's about the same. If you've ever been to a NASCAR race in person, it is fun. Yeah, it is fun because it's louder than you think it is. The colors are more vivid than you think they are, and the speed is more incredible than you believe it is. But watching it on TV, no.
It's like a cat chasing a mouse.
It's a waste of time. And they let you bring your own beverages in. So that's always a plus. Wow.
With baseball?
NASCAR.
Oh,
NASCAR.
You can do that. I must say, I go watch the baseball game.
No. They don't let you take them in, but you know.
Yeah, okay, I got
There's a compartment somewhere where, you know, they don't know where to search it at.
Yeah, it's like going to the movies. You know, you ain't supposed
They can bring in coolers too, can't you? In NASCAR. You can bring in coolers.
Yep. You can bring food, coolers. Because, you know, if you really think about it, there's 100,000 people or more at a NASCAR race. There's only about 12 concession stands. So
snap.
They can't really accommodate everybody. And it's better for them if you bring your own, because the way they drink, they would run out of beer in the first 10 laps.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I've been to a couple, and I've experienced it out there. I live right around the corner from a racetrack here in North Carolina, so I've been to a couple. It's interesting.
It's not bad, but I wouldn't go. I mean, when I went, I was with some friends of mine who look like them, and they, you know, I got in, but now I won't. I'll go with other black people. Because I'm comfortable now. I wasn't comfortable at first. It was kind of like somebody from Harvard going to a CIAA game. You know, they might have been a little uncomfortable. And then, after the first time, it's like, oh, come on.
I'm curious to see what's going to happen in Colorado with Deion Sanders, because I heard him meeting with the band director the other day that he actually posted on social media about how he wants his theme music when he comes out and when the team come out. That's gonna be very interesting.
The band director didn't want to do it. The band director didn't want to do it.
No, they agreed. They said they'll do it.
Oh, I thought you said competing with him.
No. He said no, because now he's at Colorado. He just came from Jackson, which was a HBCU. Then he went to Colorado, which is a PWI, and now he wants his theme music every time, you know, when he comes out. And he said, "I'll have a DJ in the locker room. I got my thing. I want my theme music when the team comes out. Every time we score, I want our theme music." You know, they agreed to it.
There you go.
They agreed to it.
Hey, Deion could bring a crowd now, you know, and he puts in his work.
Yeah,
you know.
Did you hear what he said recently, though?
What's that?
So he said that his offensive linemen, he want them to have 3.5 GPA, and he want them to come from two parent homes. But his
offensive lineman,
his offensive line. But his defensive lineman, he want them to come from single parent homes, where they are scraping and scrapping and trying to make it work, and they. You know, the kid, he don't care what their GPA is.
And was he advocating speaking about this?
What'd you say, John?
No, I was saying, was he high the day he was speaking of this?
No. He was on. He was on TV talking about this.
Wow.
Nope. I don't think he said he didn't care about grades.
He said he wanted them to be single parent homes.
He did say that.
He said he wanted them to be on free lunch in school.
Yep. He wanted them to know the struggle, and he wanted them to know the struggle of fighting for their mother.
Defensive players. Yep.
Fighting for their mother to get out of the situation that they're in. Yep. That's kind of how he said. He said that's the type of players he wants on the defensive line. Yep.
You can tell Deion's not part of the Divine Nine. I mean, I realize that a lot of it is for hype, but Cole, that's stupid.
Right, exactly.
Because I know I may be dating myself a little bit, but there was a group of young men called the Selman brothers that played in Oklahoma, and they came from parents and Leroy, Dewey, and Lucius. Talk about some old names.
I was talk about some names.
Leroy, Dewey, and Lucius. They were all Americans in Oklahoma, and they loved their mother and their father. And I played football at Bowie State. I played defensive line, and both of my parents grew up in my house. My middle linebacker, who had 100 tackles and was all conference, both of his parents are actually still living, and we played in the 80s. So the defensive ends who were all American, their father was a minister, and their mother left him as a widow, but he grew up in that household. So I do understand what he's attempting to say. I do understand what he's attempting to say, but bullshit.
Well, Robin, I don't. So can you provide some context on what he was trying to say?
Well, what he's trying to say is they had a harder life, so they're more aggressive, and that they will go get it a little bit more aggressively than somebody who was taught to use a knife and fork and wipe their mouth with a napkin and say, yes, please.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. But okay.
And then I guess the offensive side is that they learn to protect, to defend, like the blind side. He was on offense because he was with the white people. Anyway, but it's more, they have more dog in them, in his opinion. So, but he's only basing that because that's how he grew up.
I was about to say that's a sad
probably
way
so,
and that's a sad way of thinking.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is.
Yeah. I agree.
Let's get into this last commercials right quick so we can get into the topic for the night. We want to get time for the topic for the night, so we can get into these last set of commercials right quick. Cool.
Hey, it's your girl Tia Robertson. I'm the host of Entrepreneur Insider. Every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern for entrepreneurs and news that you need to know about. See you there.
I said, oh no.
What up, good people? Welcome back to another episode of Millionaire Man Cave right here on Relationship Entertainment Television, better known as RETV. As y'all know, as I always say, make sure y'all subscribe to the Relationship Entertainment Television YouTube channel so that way you can watch live any episodes that actually come on or any previous episodes. We talked about some stuff that happened in some previous episodes. Y'all can go back and watch it on YouTube. So make sure y'all subscribe to the Relationship Entertainment Television YouTube channel. Also, make sure you check out the website. re-tv.net, because you can watch live there as well. It is 24/7, 365. It actually streams just like you watch your Fox, NBC, ABC, all the other BET, all the other stuff, except we want to do positive entertainment and positive education stuff right here on a black network, black-owned network. So make sure you also download the Roku app as well if you got a Roku. Tonight we got a hell of a topic. As you can see, we got several members of the Divine Nine. I will actually let them introduce themselves because we really didn't give them an opportunity to introduce themselves before we get into the topic. So Mike, I'll let you go ahead and take it away.
Yes, sir. So I do want to start off. This is a show on Greek life. What a lot of people know is what happens in college, but a lot of people don't understand that Black Greek letter organizations in the Divine Nine are heavy influencers and do a lot of work of community service in the Black community, especially. So we kind of want to talk about Greek life, as it pertains to different organizations. There's going to be similarities, there's going to be differences, but we're all here to serve. We actually pay to serve. But that's
before we do, let me do this before we do, because I don't know how these people feel about representing their organizations and their organizations, them representing all that good stuff. So let's just put the disclaimer up there so people just know that these are everybody's own personal opinions.
That's right.
All right.
That's right. All right. So I'm gonna start with the ladies. Always start with the ladies. Stephanie, who happens to be my wife. I'll put that out there. So I have to be kind of subdued on the show a little bit. I can't be crazy. I got to be on my best behavior. I'm not dropping any F-bombs tonight. No. I usually don't. But
John do it for you. Don't worry. Let him fly. See? That's what he did. That's exactly what he did.
But yeah, so let's take it over to Stephanie. It might be a little echo in there. I'm trying to mute and figure that out. But Stephanie, introduce yourself. Tell them where you're from, what organization you represent.
And please don't doing this stuff, but go ahead.
Okay. I am Stephanie Robertson. I am, originally from New York, live here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I am representing Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, Blue and White.
Cool beans.
I guess I'll step in now. I'm Katasha Lloyd. I have Tasha there because that's what I typically go by, but I am a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Originally a Brooklyn, New Yorker, but I've been in Charlotte for a while now, so glad to be here.
Oh, New York in the house representing heavy tonight.
All right, and let's start from the bottom. John.
Yeah, John Reeves. Yeah, John Reeves. I'm from Washington, D.C. I'm a proud member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. And the great thing here is that I love what you said, Millionaire, bro, that the idea is that we're not representing our organizations. We're just representing, our experience in the organizations as well as in Greek life. So I love that. And I am the chairman of the Sigmas of Charlotte Foundation.
Cool beans.
Oh, that's what's up.
Where in the DMV you from?
Southeast DC, bro.
Southeast.
That's right.
Born and raised
we are
Texas Avenue. Texas Avenue.
Oh.
That's where I'm from.
Look, Stanton Road.
Okay.
Yeah.
You get shot in both of them neighborhoods. No.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
Not
It's
anymore.
changing. It's changing. It's changing.
Last time I went home,
It's white people. It's white women running in the neighborhood.
with dogs.
Yeah.
White women running with dogs.
They're not running. They're jogging.
Yeah.
There you go. They're not running. Let's hear from you, Corey. Tell us about yourself.
Yes, Corey Lockett. Originally from New Jersey, so I'm also a Northerner. Irvington, New Jersey. I've been in Charlotte for 16 years now. And a member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, the Sigmas of Charlotte, and I am the second vice president of the chapter, Beta Rho Sigma chapter.
What's up with all y'all Northerners going south? I don't understand.
Hey, that's the way it was, man.
My wife did it. My wife did it too. She went to Winston-Salem State, so
exactly.
That's right, and she's from Jersey.
That's right.
Yeah, I was saying, and she's another Northerner. Exactly, she's from Jersey too.
Jersey.
Yeah. Robert, tell us about yourself, man.
Yes, sir. I am Robert Mahoney. I am a 1985 graduate of Bowie State University. I am from the DMV also, originally from Rockville, Maryland, and served a few years in the military, relocated to Charlotte in 1996. Proud member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated for a few years. I currently serve as the Area 5 Deputy Director, which is from Salisbury to Asheville. Member of the Beta Nu Lambda chapter on a few committees, and just happy to be here in Charlotte and being able to affiliate with such great people, except those Rams. You don't mind.
That's okay. That's okay.
Can I ask the first question?
Sure.
Question? Is anybody legacy for their fraternity or sorority?
Oh, nice.
No, I'm a first generation college student.
Okay.
That's what's up.
Okay.
I knew
Well,
it.
look, bro, I'm not a legacy. However, my son recently became one, so I'm real excited about that.
Okay.
That's
all his dues is paid.
All right.
Boy, you did the right thing.
John said he's creating legacies.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. No one in my family is actually Greek. So when I go to the family reunion, they say, "Is that college church?" Yeah.
So you be standing there by yourself with your letters on.
Yeah. Yeah. That's that Bowie shirt. You got that Bowie shirt on? Yeah, that says Bowie.
So I did want to say, I am a normal member of the show. My name is Mike and Millionaire Mike, but I am also part of the Divine Nine. I am part of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. And I come from the DMV, Fort Washington, for those who don't know, but Fort Wash. And I've been in Charlotte for about 17 years now. And I'm loving it. I went to Winston-Salem State. First I went to Elizabeth City State, where I met my wife. Mm-hmm. Then I went to, that's right. Then I went to Winston-Salem State, and that's where I joined Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated.
Did you go to Oxon Hill High?
No, Friendly.
You went to Friendly. Okay.
Friendly.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yo.
You lucky.
No
She
window.
stayed after you left Elizabeth City.
Or did she?
She's alumni of Elizabeth City, and now I'm alumni of Winston-Salem State. But I literally spent half the time at Elizabeth City and half the time at Winston, so I have the same love for both.
Let's just say you made some smart decisions in your life, Mike.
Right.
You got a BP gas card or a Shell gas card? That's a lot of miles.
But Stephanie, what happened? Oh my God! You're part of the family. What was Millionaire Mike thinking? I mean, what happened?
Yes. Everyone makes a decision for themselves, and you can't control or guide. You can give suggestions, but you can't control or guide. So. You have to make what the best choice is for you. And that was his choice. I go with it. We have a daughter. We have two sons. Don't think they'll go. I don't think that will be their life. But I will just ensure that the daughter, chooses the blue and white. So rest assured, Corey and John.
Yes.
John, I was there when your son had his presentation. So I remember that. I'll just ensure that the girl, joins the blue and white. So don't worry. Sorry, Tasha. You know, I know you
look, and I only have a son, so I have no dog in the fight.
And Tasha and I know each other,
please don't use the word dog.
Wow. There are no cues on the call tonight, right? No cues on the
Yeah, we don't have any cues to defend themselves on the show tonight.
Wow.
They were invited.
They were invited. They were invited.
Oh, but let's get into it, man. So what I did was I came up with several questions that I've heard over the years, or that have sparked interest in me personally, as well as people I've heard from. So I didn't want to make this a show about college. Like I said, I wanted it to be a show about what your life is like now as a Greek. So I'm assuming, and from what everybody has said, that everybody is active still. Okay. So that's a big thing, is, like I said, after college, you have to pay to be a part of your alumni chapters and these organizations that serve. So that's a little inside joke that you pay to serve, but it's worth it, and like I said, I'll let each speak on, their own things. But my first question, I guess, is, and this may be college oriented or not, but what attracted you to the Greek life? Anybody can speak up as long as everybody answers. What attracted you to the Greek life?
Well, I will start and say my experience, I actually have a lot of Greeks in my family. Most of my family, I have a lot of Kappas, at least 7 to 8 Kappas, a lot of AKAs, Deltas, Qs, Alphas, only one other Sigma, so we need to work on that. But I was around them and just seeing them just doing different things in the community. They would be going to this meeting, that meeting, and just being, and it was really not even them being Greek. It was them being like, active in the church, active in this service project, active in that. So that really drew Greek life to me. And, when I got to college, I was in our youth auxiliary, which is a Sigma Beta Club. And that's really how I actually got exposed to, like, what is Greek life? What are they doing? And at first, like many people, I thought it was about, stepping and partying and all that. But once I got into Sigma Beta and then, learned more about Sigma and the other fraternities and sororities, I learned that it was much more so about community service and building a better person. So that's what drew it to me. I knew what I wanted to do when I went to college. But I just knew that I wanted to be a part of Greek life and just, have that experience and then be able to be a vessel to others in the community.
All right. Word. Who's up next?
I'm going to say the service for me was what absolutely attracted me to the Greek Life Organization, as well as the scholarship opportunities. A lot of the Greek organizations on my campus was giving away tons of money, and I wanted part of it. However, you didn't have to be part of the Greek organization to do it, but I just thought it was impressive that these organizations was offering, scholarships and all of these different things. And the cool thing was that I had a number of classes with a number of Greeks, and I was like, gosh, I really got excited about all the great programs that we're doing and so forth. Now, it was interesting at my PWI, we had Rush, and it was funny because I kept being rushed for some of the predominantly white organizations. And I kept saying, I don't know. And then, of course, long story short, pledged my junior year. Or I should say I was orientated my junior year, excuse me. But nevertheless, for me, it was all about the service. But one more quick thing. I didn't even know about graduate chapters until almost after the fact. And I got to tell you, if I would have known that I could do all of these amazing things I can do at the graduate level, I probably would have skipped undergrad, quite frankly, because I'm just going to say, I am having the time of my life, as a graduate brother. And a lot of it just has to do with not only the community piece, but the fellowship and the idea that, you know, brothers can go through the life journey with you. You know, whether you've been married a few times, whether you've been in relationships, you've loved ones, it's all about the brotherhood for me, at least at the graduate level. And I got to say, I could not imagine not being engaged with my organization.
So, John, where did you go to school?
I pledged at Virginia Tech, but I graduated from a small school called Rapid, which is right down the road. And both schools are in Virginia.
I know that school. Yeah.
Yeah. They tend to make it to the NCAA and always lose the first round. It's unfortunate, but you know, it is what it is.
Hey, it's exposure though.
Well, but they keep losing though. That's bad.
Well, I can appreciate what you just said. So I look forward to hearing what everybody else said, but I appreciate what you just said.
So tell them why, John.
Where'd you go to school, John?
Why, Mr. PC?
So I went to a PWI. So I went to Trinity College in Hartford, Connecticut. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I ended up pledging a predominantly white fraternity. And as I tell people, I wouldn't do it again, but I did it because it was a situation where I just felt comfortable with the guys that were there. There were no black colleges. There were no black fraternities and sororities on campus. The nearest one was it was a Alpha chapter. It was like a regional chapter out of UConn, and they called it the Lumber Yard. Okay. So I knew immediately, sir, that there was nobody going to
put that disclaimer back up.
You know what I'm saying?
Put that disclaimer back up.
So, but what John said about waiting to pledge grad chapter and understanding that was an option, if that were an option that I knew about as a first generation college student, that might have been one that I might have pursued otherwise. But nobody, and I mean nobody, was going to lay any wood on me. You know what I'm saying? That just wasn't happening.
Well, we're going to talk about that because, you know, the BWI, your organizations did all types of interesting things as well. So we'll talk about that.
Yeah, they be killing people.
Not mine. Not mine.
They playing them drunk games. They be killing
drinking games.
I was going to say, how many of those beer bombs did you have to consume?
I don't know no bull daggers.
None of the above. None of the above. I drank what I wanted.
Don't know nobody.
But I will say, Burning Sands, the movie. It's only a movie.
I saw it.
But I assume that some of those things are relatively in line with reality.
School days. That was my first exposure
to
days. The HBCU.
That was
ain't nobody dying school days, but in Burning Sands.
Yeah. But that was my first exposure to HBCU life and Greek life as well. School days. So I thought that was dope. Spike Lee put it on, put it out there like that.
Yeah.
When I started school, school days was the only reference I had to Greek life. I had college life, some wherewithal with that, but as far as Greek was concerned, school days was it. And my uncle, I knew he had a horseshoe on his arm, and I come to find out that was Omega. So I had very little knowledge when I went to Elizabeth City State. Learned everything after I got into school. But that's me. Tasha, you quiet over there, girl.
Yeah, I'm taking it all in. I actually, same, I grew up in Brownsville, Brooklyn, and I didn't know anyone who really went to college, let alone who was a part of a fraternity or sorority. There was one girl on my block who went to Virginia Union, and she would come back to Brooklyn, and I knew that she had colors on. She's a Delta, didn't know much about it. But in my case, I guess what attracted me, I actually, I pledged or was initiated, as in a grad chapter. I did go to a PWI, shout out to UNC Charlotte, but I got my undergrad when I was entering my actually early in my 30s, and so I knew that there was the possibility to pledge, but didn't want to do that because I was much older. I guess if I'm speaking to what attracted me to AKA, again, didn't grow up with anyone in sororities, but I did have one cousin. My grandmother is from North Carolina, from Eastern Carolina, and I had one cousin that would always wear pink and green. I don't even think I realized that it was AKA until I was much older, but that was the first time I had even recognized that, oh, okay, there's another group of ladies. And I found out that my grandmother, who didn't finish college, but who wanted to pledge AKA. So it just made the most sense to me that to sort of learn that would have been her legacy. And when I did find out that there was the opportunity to do grad chapter, didn't know that either. I thought you had to, you missed the boat. I thought if you didn't do it in college. And so when I did find out that there was a possibility to do so, one of my best girlfriends, who also came through a grad chapter, she was initiated, and then I was like, oh, you can do that. And she told me, and like a year later I was initiated as well.
That's awesome. Robert, see you over
yes,
there.
Sir. Honestly, I didn't know anything about community service. I was struggling with my grades. I just saw the camaraderie amongst a group of guys. Actually, with all the Greek letter organizations, there was a lot of camaraderie at Bowie State, and they always interacted well with each other. But there was just one group that appealed to me more. They seemed to fit more with my characteristics. They seemed to be of the bond that I had, and to me, it wasn't about the other parts of the organization. It was about that cohesive group at that university at that time. Because for me, there was nobody to go back home to. My family is blue collar. My dad drove a garbage truck and my mother scrubbed floors. Most of my family, the men in my family worked on garbage trucks. I wanted to be the janitor with 17 keys and be able to go through and open up the doors or ride on a state truck and just like, hey, take breaks for 45 minutes. That was what I thought I was going to be doing in Montgomery County to make ends meet. And then I got to college and I communed with a group of guys. One of them, he was my roommate. His father was actually the president of the university. And it was at that time that I realized that I could be educated. Growing up, excuse me, for those of you who are from the DMV in Montgomery County, my yearbook was basically a few flakes of pepper with a whole bunch of salt. I did not know that I had an education because most of the people around me, the education was catered to them. It wasn't really catered to me. I just got a great education listening. When I hear stories often of the house Negro learning how to read, I can relate a little bit because they weren't teaching it to me, but I was listening. And when they started doing algebra and stuff like that, and everybody raised their hands with questions, I couldn't have a question because I didn't know enough, but I was learning. And actually, when I got to college, I realized that I knew more than I thought I did, and actually felt better about myself from being at this HBCU that allowed whatever I had learned to mold and matriculate me to all the things that I did. So while at school, I was in theater. I was in student government. I was in ROTC. I was in football. And eventually I was the first school mascot at Bowie.
Oh.
And
wow.
So yeah, I was at Bulldog. Traveling to Elizabeth City, that was one of the toughest games. I apologize for digressing, but Reggie Langhorne was at ECSU at the time. And I remember because I didn't have a Bulldog costume. I made my own costume up. And when I went down there, this young kid came up to me and it was a hard fought game, but Elizabeth City beat us. And so
I see Lauren, I just want to comment. Lauren, you should be on to represent the Deltas tonight. All right, go ahead, Robert.
Yeah. So the kid came up to me and he said, "See, I told you we were gonna beat you," and he hit me in the stomach.
Oh, snap.
And I realized that I was on some part of North Carolina. I didn't know how to get home. So I just had to take that whooping from that little kid because I just knew I'd be back at somebody's farm hung up anyway. But you know, it was funny. It was funny. But it was just one of those things. So for me, to shorten the story a lot more than I would like to, it was a thing that the group of people were cohesive and more like me. And then I went off, and despite the disclaimer that you put up, when we have our tags on our cars, or we have a sticker in the window of our vehicles, or we wear our paraphernalia, it doesn't matter what we do. We are being watched at all times.
That's right.
What we say matters. What we do matters. How we treat people matters when we are in our paraphernalia. And it wasn't something that I signed up for. As I said, I just wanted to be a part of that group. But I have embraced what this organization, what the Divine Nine does. And I relish the fact that I'm a part of it, not necessarily knowing what I got into when I got into it. And everything that was before me and everything that follows me, I want to give credence to what was before me, and also keep the foundation steady for whoever comes after me. So the short answer to the long preamble that I gave, I didn't know what I was getting into, but I'm damn sure glad I did it.
Gosh. All right. Yeah. All right. So, I got one of my questions was to
and I'm
ask
paying dues to
everybody.
keep doing it.
There you go. I want to see if everybody was active, and I already asked that earlier. So everybody is active. What does it do for you? Well, let me step back. Are you part of any community service projects with your organization, and what does that do for you?
Well, I'm the chairman of the Sigmas of Charlotte Foundation, so there's that. And ultimately, what it does for me, it's all about continuing to extend what we do for our local chapter, the Sigmas of Charlotte, through our scholarship service as well as brotherhood. My goal is just to make sure that we have the financial and other tools necessary to continue to do all of the amazing work that our chapter completes. So interesting enough, it's an extension of our chapter, but it's all about doing even more that we can do to reach, disadvantaged communities that look like us and those folk that don't, to just make sure that if you're in the greater Charlotte area, if there's a way that we can help you achieve your goals or move closer to achieving your goals, that's what we do.
All right. I wanted to step in. I'm sorry, I didn't get to hear Stephanie speak on what. And I'm not sure. I don't want to disrupt the flow, but I was very interested in hearing why she chose. So
I'm so sorry.
Go back to that question, to hear from you, Stephanie. I've never asked you that question. We're good friends.
It's too many people out
hearing her answer.
I'm sorry, I skipped my wife. I'm gonna hear that later.
So I think kind of like Robert, I went to an all-white high school. I was the only Black kid from kindergarten to 12th, except for third grade. There was one little boy named Robert. So I did know about Greek organizations, but I only knew about Sigma. My next door neighbor, who was my best friend, he was a Sigma. His sister ended up being a Zeta. So I went to Elizabeth City. It was really for me. I saw everybody. We had everyone on campus, I believe. Yeah, we had everyone on campus. So for me, it was about who was going to accept me for who I was. And so I saw the sisterhood of Zetas. Like, it was truly a sisterhood. Like, I could be myself. I didn't have to pretend to be anybody else. I could be rude if I wanted to. I could just be me. And for me, I do not like fake. Not saying anybody else is. I do not like fake. I do not like to have to be anything but myself. So that was the reason. It was sisterhood. wholeheartedly the reason why I chose this organization. Little did I know 30 years later in this sisterhood that I would have the amount of sisters I have, whether they are Zetas or whether they are, part of the D9. But I would, if someone would told me that in 1993, I would have been like, you a lie. Like, yeah, whatever, that you a lie. But, that's truly what it was. It was the sisterhood. And then now it's, of course, other things. But I always go back to the sisterhood for me.
When you called them a lie, would you be pulling your earrings off at the same time?
Sure.
Can I ask a question? Do you think that there are, in your opinions, all of you all, as you have, expanded your understanding of your fraternities or sororities over the years, are there chapters or locations where if you had been in those areas, you might not have pledged or might not have, maybe it's not pledged. What is it called? Is it?
I can speak to that because I was raised in New York and I went to school in Elizabeth City, North Carolina. So two totally polar opposite areas, North and South. And I still would have chosen what I chose. I think my husband has heard me say it before. I firmly believe that, we say that we chose our organization. I kind of believe that my organization chose me, that she chose me. Like I was chosen to be a Zeta, just based upon everything. So I can say that New York to North Carolina, especially Elizabeth City back then, like that campus back then looks nothing like it looks right now, like nothing. So yeah, I would have done the same choice. This does not matter. And I've been to many campuses, many areas. I still would choose the organization I chose.
And in my case, I actually chose Sigma because Sigma was not on my campus. So I literally, unlike you, John, of course, I literally said, you know what? I'm going to find the organization I want to join. So ultimately, what I did was literally went to a different school, which was 15 minutes away from mine. And I actually decided to become part of the organization and bring it back to my school.
John, I'm so jealous of that because I have a son that actually goes to a PWI right now. And I introduced him to the Greek life, all that good stuff, and he still pledged a white fraternity. So, and I told him, I said, I kind of wish you would have went to a school nearby to do your thing, but that's what he felt comfortable with. So, I mean, it is.
But you know what's going to happen? What's going to happen is after he graduates, he's going to say, "Oh my," he's going to get tired of going back to the local organization, or his school organization that's on his campus, and one day he's going to realize, oh my God, well, maybe I should have looked at this a little bit differently. Maybe not. But my oldest son did just that. He literally went through another organization. And I was, kind of sad because considering I was always active, and he was part of Sigma Beta and all this other sort of thing. But long story short, it wasn't even 6 months later, he decided to go inactive and said, oh, well, can I join your organization? No, that's not how it works. So I get that. I get that. And again, his whole thing was, it was kind of like Mr. PC's story that, these guys made him feel welcome, was really excited about being there. But it was 6 months later. 6 months later. Oh, and by the way, the dues was no joke. They were paying like $120 a month, and not on my watch. I'm like, look, if it was Sigma, you would have got a hallway pass, but I'm not paying for another organization. But so I definitely understand that, Ty. But the oldest did that and he regrets it, especially now that, the youngest is part of the family. So I'm just like, well, that's what happened.
Well, and a lot of that has to do with understanding where you are in school.
Absolutely.
And the opportunities that exist, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, that's what it boils down to. And that's why I ask if you all were at other institutions or other institutions that you have visited, do you think you would still be a part of the same organization? And I don't mean, and I understand what you all are saying, like the organizations themselves are exciting to you, but people pick their organizations based on the chapter that they know. And the people that you come across at that chapter, right? And maybe that's not thinking about it the right way, but in a lot
it happens.
In a lot
not
of
every case, but
that's the first introduction you have to that organization.
That is a variable.
And so the question is, and that's why I asked that question, do you think that if you were at another institution it's hard to say because you all are already in your organizations. You are very much ingrained in those organizations. Do you think that would have been the organization you would have pledged or initiated into? Excuse me. Had it been at a different institution?
Well, I think for me, because I came in with a lot of education about Greek life, and I'm from New Jersey, and Sigmas are really big up in New Jersey, but coming down south wasn't as big. I mean, they had a lot of different chapters, but it wasn't as prominent in the south. So I think, in hindsight, if I knew I wanted to be a Sigma, but if I had arrived at my school, UNC Charlotte, and said, you know, I'm not feeling the chapter. I'm not feeling this chapter. I think I would have waited until grad chapter to join, because I knew I wanted to be a Sigma. So that's just my. And I know there are some who may be their first experience going into the university, their first experience seeing Greeks are when they arrive at orientation or whatever. So they have to decide from ground zero what they want to do. So they may have a different experience. So that's why I always tell people, do your research. Even if you knew you want to join a certain organization, to do your research to see if you want to join that particular chapter, because it does inform, you just have to spend, however you join your freshman year, 4 years in that chapter. So you want to make sure you align with the people who you are there with. Or you may want to wait, or you make sure you choose the right organization for you.
That's right.
I'll chime in by saying so at the time, Stephanie knows my story. My mom had me young. My grandmother raised me. My grandmother passed, and around the same time that my grandmother passed away, a lot of the women that was in the chapter that I'm a part of, they were older women. And so as I would volunteer with this particular group, like I intentionally wanted to make sure that I align myself with this particular chapter solely because of having that maternal being able to still learn from. So my chapter is in Concord. I'm not in Charlotte. But there are chapters in Charlotte, and again was never really interested in Greek life at all, because I didn't know that I could be a part of. But even once I found that I could be a part of, it was very intentional that I wanted to be a part of and be aligned with that particular chapter, just because I still had the opportunity to be around women that were older than me, and I just felt like was still held serving really to the core of what they were doing, as opposed to what some may perceive with my organization or just Greek life as a whole is not focusing as much on the service, more so than focusing on the fact of being known as, being a member of that particular organization. So for me, the chapter played a factor. And I know Mike asked a question, so I'll answer that too. I came into my chapter serving immediately. I've been an AKA now for actually next month will be 5 years, and I am the vice president of my current chapter. And my role is to coordinate all of our programming and servicing. So I have committees that report into me, but my sole role is to make sure that we are doing the work in the community.
Yeah, to answer that question, Mr. PC, I don't know. I don't necessarily know. What resonated with me was a unique vibe, a unique feeling, something that resonated inside of me with that particular group of men that were on the campus. I did not get that feeling when I went to other organizations, smokers, but I did get that feeling when I went to this smoker. And then once I became a member of this organization, traveled to a few chapters around the state of Maryland, DC, the East Coast, New York City, step shows, stuff like that. I didn't necessarily get that same vibe with other members of this organization. So by the grace of God, I was in the right place at the right time. And the fit that I have is the fit for me. If I had been in another place at another time, I may have done something else and I would not be active or may not be active in that organization, because the fit here is where I belong. And the decision that I made was at that time I think I was 18. I might have been 19. Yeah, I was 18 going on 19. So it was just the one for me. And I just feel that if I hadn't done it then, I probably wouldn't have done it.
Right. Right.
Gotcha.
And that doesn't mean that you haven't met great men from other chapters.
Sure.
That just means that the chapter that you happen to be, so like the school you happen to be at had a chapter that spoke to you at that time.
Yeah. Because a lot of brothers that I know are reserved, and the chapter that I came from, they're not reserved. They are forward, saying, thinking, talking, joning, all in your face. Stand up, get your backbone straight, or take this whooping. Verbal, mental, whatever it might be. You come outside looking like Obama, stuff like that. And it's camaraderie, but it builds your character. To some people is really negative. But a dysfunctional family doesn't know it's dysfunctional.
That's right.
That's just how the family works. And that's the dysfunctional Brothers of Eta Zeta chapter at Bowie State. Is unique within itself. And I was just fortunate to be one of the members who was able to join. And to this day, we're still close. I had COVID 3 years ago, right as it happened. And when everything shut down, they started a Zoom chat. And every Friday we had a happy hour. And we were on the Zoom call, supposed to be for an hour. And we're talking to brothers in Texas, Florida, Indiana, Maryland, DMV, for hours and hours. And we rekindled a lot of stuff and became, much closer, because there were some things that you miss once you leave school and you start your career and you move on. You miss those things, but it was almost like riding the bike again. We caught up with some stuff, and they joning and calling your Bama and all that other stuff again, and it felt good.
So thank you. My story is just a little different. I had started, like I said, I was real green when I went to school. I didn't know anything about Greek life at all, period. And I spent about 2.5 years there. And I learned during that 2.5 years a lot about what the different Greeks were like. And then a lot of my friends, of course, had gone Kappa. I had some friends that went Q. I had a friend or two that went Alpha. I don't think I knew any Sigmas. But the majority of my friends went Kappa. I left school, and while I was working, I went home for about 4 years. And while I was home working, I just ended up, for some reason, getting involved with or befriending 2 Kappas. It wasn't by choice. They were just cool people, and who were cool with me, and we were friends. So when I went to Winston-Salem, a few years later, the opportunity came up, and I was like 27 years old, but I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it. So, that was the draw for me, was more camaraderie. It was more what they were doing in the community. But aside from that, it was the camaraderie, and it was the bond that, was shared amongst different schools and different chapters. So would I have gone somewhere else and done the same thing? Yeah, I would have. Because like I said, it was kind of formed in me. Starting at Elizabeth City, then when I went away, and finally at Winston. So now I did have one more question. I know it's 9:30. Is everybody okay with going a few minutes over?
I'm cool.
Okay. My last question is, what has been your best experience as a Greek? What has been your best experience as a Greek?
I'm just going to go back to my theme, brotherhood. Just the idea I've met. One of the awesome things about all of the Divine Nine organizations is that we have probably, I call it a biannual conference or national conference or conclave that we call it with Sigma. And what's so exciting about these conferences is that you meet brothers from all over the world. And the really cool, rich thing is that you love my local chapter, but it's nothing like, looking forward to meeting brothers or seeing brothers that you haven't seen in decades and so forth at these national conference events. So for me, it's all about brotherhood, to be able to fellowship. And, when you're done with all of the scholarship and the service, just to be able to kick back and kind of do barbershop like you guys do here and just be able to just talk about fun, life things and that sort of thing.
I actually have two, if I may, and I'll try to be short with both of them. When I graduated from Bowie, I went to Fort Sill, Oklahoma for Officer Basic course. And while at the Officer Basic course, I met a Kappa, I met a Q, I met somebody from Alpha Phi Omega. I met, a lot of people because I was wearing Greek letters. The short part of this is the Deltas were having their convention in Dallas right at the end of our training. So myself, Warren Goss, a Kappa from VCU, and Dallas Thompson, a Q from Hampton, we got in one car. We drove to Dallas. We stayed in the same room, and we went to the Delta convention, and they were just surprised that 3 members of 3 different Greek organizations were communing at the Delta convention. But it was a great time. We bonded together as just men, but it was because we were all part of the Divine Nine and went to that. The other story that I have is being a member of this organization and going overseas or going to foreign countries and wearing your Greek letters. There is somebody that will walk up to you and will initiate a challenge to you, and then they treat you as if they've known you for the rest of your life. So whatever it was at the 84 Lumber Company or whatever it was up in Connecticut that you avoided, it would have been worth it if you travel just a little bit, because the doors that are now open to you that you don't even know about only happen when you wear your Divine Nine paraphernalia, I think. Put that disclaimer back up.
So I think the question was like your best experience. Was that it? So I think for me, I have, outside of everything of seeing the sea of blue and white when we go to conferences, like John said, Brother John said, but I think for me, the first one is currently I serve as the first vice president. And so I get to see sisters come into the organization. I get to bring them in. I get to, show them what I see, like why this is the organization to be in. Sorry, Tasha. But why? I get to open their eyes and share my organization with them, as well as those who are not active, and why they need to come home, like why they need to come back to Zeta. That probably is the best experience when they come in and they start working and they're doing things and you just see them happy. Like you see that they're just happy. That probably is like the best experience for me.
My response is similar to what's already been said. I mean, I enjoy going to conferences, seeing the brothers, seeing the sisters, the sorors. We are the only constitutionally bound brother and sister organization. I just want to throw that in there. Just had to drop that in there.
Oh, that part.
But just seeing everybody, and then going to homecoming. I mean, you see folks, and I'm relatively young in Greek life and in life, but seeing like people who I've come in with, you see them now coming back with their children. Some of their children are now becoming Sigma Beta Club members and now joining other Divine Nine organizations in college. So it's good to see that as a full circle moment. and just see how life progresses and how we've all grown, and just seeing how we can just feed into our next generation of children, nieces, nephews, young folks that are coming up behind us. And I do want to also, just reiterate, I'm very MPHC minded. So I love all other Divine Nine. And, we always, go back and forth sometimes when we're in our spaces. But, when we go out into the world, and you see another person other than Divine Nine, you know that you're in the safe space. You go to different conferences, different things like that. You may be the only, there may be like a sprinkling, I think Robert says, some pepper in a room. But if you know that, some of that pepper is in the Divine Nine, you know that you have someone you automatically, instantly have a connection with. You can ask questions, network with, and then just somebody who just knows your experience. I think that's good to have that experience. And I always say, if I see any of y'all, on the side of the road broken down, I'm coming to your rescue. And I just know that if I'm broken down on the side of the road, I know that if someone's coming with the alpha tag, kappa tag, aka tag, zeta tag, what have you, that they are going to be just a support to me. And and that's good to have. That's good to have that whole Divine Nine family behind you.
I got some Lowe's tools in my truck, Corey, that's blue, and I would definitely use them blue tools to help you get off the road.
I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that.
I got a quick question. I got a quick question before we go. How do y'all feel about like celebrities who are honorary? Like I don't know if she's really honorary or not. Like Fantasia just the other day or about a month ago, she crossed as Gamma Row. I just saw it on this morning on Good Morning America. I didn't know that Robin Roberts is a honorary AKA. She said, her mom was AKA, her dad was Omega. How do y'all feel about celebrities in getting their honorary status? And not all of them have. From my understanding, Lance Gross was initiated into Kappa Alpha Psi. So he didn't get the easy pass. But how do y'all feel about celebrities in?
Well, I'll start out. Different organizations are different. I'm just going to say it like that. I mean, the initiation process within the Divine Nine is different. I mean, I cannot throw disrespect out there or, give any ill feeling or anything, but positive feeling for anybody that's joined Divine Nine organization, because they're joining for a reason. They're joining because, especially on this level, where you're an adult, you've been adulting for years, you're doing it for a reason, and that reason is usually to help something or somebody. So I can do nothing but applaud that.
I'll speak to that too. I guess with being a graduate member, again, I'm someone from Brownsville, Brooklyn, so none of this really meant much to me as a younger person. So much too when I got of age, and it's like, oh, or your paper or you're not. It's like I didn't come to this organization with the mindset of I want to be in this to make friends, right? That wasn't the initial mindset. It was like I really like serving the community. I was doing a lot in the community, so for me, it was like if I can get with a group of people and that's their core focus and we can do it together, then that makes it even better. But I agree with what Mike just said. Is I think if you have the mindset to do it, that's probably a big part of the reason why I one of the questions earlier was, would you have done it younger? Like in my mind, 17, 18-year-old Tasha, from what I thought happened when you go through that process, was like, nah, nobody's touching me. I could never do that just because. And this is just coming from Katasha, but this is me before knowing. It was like my mindset of what I had heard about the process. That was a lot to do with why I had no interest early on, is because I just knew who I was as a younger person. Like that wasn't going to work. And so I think to speak now, I think for anyone that's honorary or however you become a sister of mine, once you are officially a sister, it doesn't matter to me how you've become one. Like we're here now to serve together. And I'll say really quickly, because I like the last question too, is like the best moment. I was recently able to help someone become a part of my organization who was also from Brownsville, Brooklyn. And you know, us being AKAs, we there's a stigma I think that some people have, or I'm authentically myself, but you grow up not knowing if you're, you know, ladylike enough, or if you fit the quote unquote mold that a lot of folks would put certain organizations in. And so for me to be authentically myself, still very much lady, but to be myself and to help someone who has come from the same place as me, who grew up not feeling like we could be a part of this organization. That was probably one of the best moments I've had within my 5 years of being a member of my organization.
And I'd say, just regarding the honorary members, I think it's good, you know, if the celebrity would like to, because I know some celebrities, they, you know, maybe they didn't have the opportunity or the time to go to college, or, you know, they may have just wanted to join, but then they, well, you know, they didn't have the exposure at the time, and they learned about it later in life. So there's times like that where, you know, they maybe sought out, you know, membership and didn't know what the routes are, and they kind of knew who to talk to become a part of that organization as an honorary person. Or sometimes the organization itself may reach out to some, high profile, those who are doing things in the community, to inquire about them becoming a member. So I think it's, I think it's good. I always say, as long as the honorary member, or any member, is doing, upholding the organization, upholding the principles of that organization, and can just bring value to it. I think that it's good. I don't knock it. We we have a number of honorary members who have done amazing work in the community and are very active, as an honorary member. So, I think it's great, in my opinion.
Yeah, I strongly feel that you could do other things with your time and with your money. And if this is something that you want to do with your time, and you are upholding the standards of that organization, I applaud you, because there is no greater marketing tool than Fantasia for Sigma Gamma Rho, for Robin Roberts, for Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority, and for whatever organization decides to make that happen. I heard that Hill Harper was a brother of mine. And I, like, what did he do? Well, he was good friends with Obama, and there was some discussion, I don't know. But anyway, Hill Harper went through the process. And so did Martin Luther King III. They bring a little bit more to the organization as far as notoriety is concerned. As long as they uphold the standards of the organization, I have no qualms with what our organization does or any other organization does to promote itself and to bring great members into it.
The only thing that I will say is kind of similar to what Millionaire Mike indicated, they do go through a process. It's not this thing where, okay, I want to join this organization and that's it. There is a process for honorary members as well. Now, I don't know what the process is for the rest of the organization, but I've sat on one of the committees many years ago where we selected some of the honorary members. So there is a process. So let's be very clear. Folks just don't get these letters just because they were interested. They do have to be vetted.
Okay. That's all right. Well, I do want to extend thanks to everyone on the panel who decided to join us tonight. I really appreciate it. Thank you for coming out.
Mr. PC, is my hairline okay? Mr. PC, is my hairline, is that? I need to.
Oh no!
I live on a cul-de-sac. I was one of the best.
Hey, look.
And he got a little spot in the back.
As long as you're not getting it painted on later on.
No, I would not do the paint.
Don't do that.
Yeah. It's going away. But it's it's back there a little bit.
It's all right.
Well,
I hope to check with you before we got off air. I didn't know if I was legal.
Wow.
I hope that the viewers out there have gained something from this. People had questions. I know my sister-in-law said that she was interested in watching. I hope she did. I didn't check with her beforehand. Probably should have. But viewers, I hope you got a good look into Greek life. What it's like being Greek, what interested us in being Greek, and what you can get out of it. Again, thank you, everybody. And Ty, I think we wrapping it up.
Yes.
We're going to sing the Unity song.
UNIT. Oh, that one?
Wow. They did that. They actually did it this morning on Good Morning America. They had a Unity step. They had all the divine nine
rehearsal.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I missed that.
That was a lot of rehearsal. No step show goes off without a lot of rehearsal. I just exactly. put that disclaimer back up.
We appreciate y'all for tuning in. Millionaire Man Cave every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, live on RETV. Again, each week we have different topics. We have, again, y'all sneak peek into a Man Cave. So until next time, next week, same place, same time, we will see y'all later.